Hi, my name's Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I want to talk about shooting in tournaments and should everyone win a prize. So on the weekend I shot in a tournament. I left home at 8 o'clock and I got home at 8 o'clock. So it was a big day. It was a double field round and I'm going to talk about it. But to start with, I'm going to say what an achievement to finish 2 field rounds. I normally shoot 1 field round and I'm buggered. So leading up to this shoot, I was here practicing literally every night and I was having all sorts of problems. I don't know if I did videos about it, but I was having all sorts of problems getting the bow set up, and I was putting all the time in, changing stuff around. On the day before the shoot, I changed arrows twice. 7:30 at night, I was still here shooting, seeing which arrows I shoot best with, and I rocked up at the field shoot with a new set of arrows that I didn't have sights for. And it was all really, I'm going to say stressful, but I didn't even know if I could finish it, right? So for me, it was a big thing, okay? Because I didn't know if I'd finish it. I didn't know if it'd be too much for me. I didn't know about the heat. So it was a big thing for me shooting that tournament, right? But there's a whole bunch of other people there at this tournament. And I just want to tell you a little bit about their stories before we go in to should everyone win a trophy. And I want to talk about all these things around my neck. So on the day, there's lots of other shooters. There's a 70-year-old longbow shooter. He's a state champion. He shot. 60-year-old longbow champion. He shot the event. There's an I'm going to get it wrong. There's an under 14 girl shooting. And let's call her name. Matilda, she's going to be going away to the Nationals, and I said, how's your preparation going up to the Nationals? And she said, I'm shooting all the time, we're shooting indoor, we're shooting field every week, and I'm really putting in lots of effort. Because for a kid to shoot an event that takes 9 hours is a huge effort, in my opinion, okay? So I think a whole day's effort, 12 hours shooting, you deserve at least a little medal, right? So anyway, so she shot, and I think she did well. I don't know what her personal best is, but I feel like she's improving on the scores I've seen. There was other boys there. I'm going to pick other boys. One's shooting 100 arrows a night. One is peaking right now, leading up to the Nationals. He shot a state record. He shot a personal best. So on one round, he shot a personal best. And on another round, he shot the state record. So there's all these other people, all these other stories, and I'm just talking about my situation. So in my situation, I was put in and when I say someone entered me in the plus 50 category for men's recurve, which sometimes I shoot in and sometimes I shoot open. Most of these will be in the open category. And so I was put in the plus 50s. I was the only person shooting. So what they said at the event after the competition was finished, they said, if you're the only person shooting, you don't win, you don't get a medal. You don't get one of these, right? So that means for all those people I just mentioned and a whole bunch of other people, they didn't get a medal. So there was about 44 people entered, and I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but I'm just giving a feeling of the event. So there's 44 people entered. I'm going to guess they gave away maybe more than 6, maybe 8 medals. Right, so the argument goes from both sides. The argument goes, well, you should be competing with someone to win one of these. Okay? Now the problem with that argument, let's say there's 2 people entered. That means you're only going to give 1 medal out, right? So if there's 2 people entered, you only give away a gold. If there's 3 people entered, you only give away silver. Silver and first, right? So the problem is, if you pay to enter and you're a 70-year-old longbow shooter who put in lots of effort to get there, he spent 12 hours of his day at this shoot, he's walking away with nothing regardless of how he shoots. So he's got no memory of the event, okay? Because I'm going to say the memory will pass, right? Because I've shot endless tournaments and you fail to remember them because there's so many, right? So it's like, well, why did I shoot? Why did I shoot the thing? And you might say, well, you shoot to shoot a personal best. Okay? That's why you shoot a tournament. But you can do that at a club shoot. So you might do it to shoot a record. So I shot a record. I shot a state record in men's and plus 50 for recurve. Okay? So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty chuffed. Yay, I went okay in the second one. I guessed a few distances wrong, but I was pretty happy with it, right? So I shot a state record. So in a few years, we'll have a certificate, hopefully turn up. Maybe we'll see how that goes. No disrespect to the people who do this stuff because I feel like I'm insulting them. But back in my day, you got certificates within a month. Now it's taking much, much longer. Right, so my thing from the day was I spent 12 hours in heat, in a hot day, fairly dehydrated, and I know it's lots of work for the organisers. You pay money and you can't win a medal. Now, I shot a higher score than the men's open. So I shot a higher score than the men's. I shot the highest recurve score on the day. Okay? So they don't roll me into men's recurve and go, well, actually, Stephen, you were the highest. You get the gold because you shot higher than the other guys. Or you don't roll the plus 70s and the plus 60s to the opens and say you got the highest. And if you're going to do that, I think you should say you're going to do that. But this is the debate I want to have, and I just want to have this conversation. Now, part of getting people to shoot tournaments, in my view, because 95%, over 98% of people are social shooters, which means they go to the club, shoot, and go home. Okay? They go down there, shoot for 2 hours, and go home and do the gardening, have lunch, and that sort of stuff. That's what they do. That's what they enjoy. They've got no interest in standing on that field course for 12 hours. No interest at all. Don't want to do it. Got no interest in doing that. So to actually shoot a tournament, and for lots of people, there's lots of anxiety associated with it, lots of pressure they put on themselves. It's an achievement to be there. It's an achievement to finish, in my view. Okay? Now with running, I'm going to talk about marathons and stuff. They have participation trophies, so everyone gets a medal. Because there is no chance you can win. Because you're up against people who are professional runners, but there's 10,000 runners running this race. 10,000 of them, start to finish. And the slow ones will start last, and the Olympians will, or the ones from overseas, will start first, and they will win, and you will finish 4 hours later than the ones who are the Olympic starters. But they get 10,000 people enter, and they charge them $50 each. So there's prize money for the people who win at the front, and for the other people they get participation medals. Now they'll have medals for all the different age categories and all the other stuff as well, but most people are just there participating. We don't have this in archery. It's not a thing. You either win or lose. And I'm going to say for archery, a lot of people will not compete because they can't beat the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or number 4 or number 5. And the only way they can win is if those people don't show up. So if these people don't show up, then I've got a chance. Okay? So for instance, in my state, if Casey rocks up, so picture of Casey, if Casey rocks up, literally I can't win. Okay? He is substantially better than me. Okay? As far as a shooter, he puts in a lot more time than I do. He's a lot more dedicated, and hats off to him. But in that process of Casey being so much better, it inspires other people to do well and to train more. And what's happened is there's a whole bunch of people in my state now trying to beat everyone. And they're training harder and they're putting more time in. So now the whole standard in my state, in South Australia, in my state, has risen. All these people have got so much better. Because they aspire to be good, they've got to train so much harder. When I started shooting recurve, the standards, no disrespect to the people shooting recurve, were much lower than they are today. Today I've got, I'm going to say, 13-year-old boys and 14-year-old boys and 15-year-old boys shooting these amazing scores. And they shoot every day. And I'm so proud of them. Okay? Because it's like, I get to beat Stephen. Because I train every day and it's like, yeah, you do. It's like, so what have I got to do? I've got to become stronger. I've got to train more to try and beat them again, right? So it's this whole thing of setting yourself up to try and succeed and try and do well in a competition environment, right? So I want to just talk a little bit about medals and stuff, and that's why I've got these here. And I'll just take off my hat. Now these are the medals I got in 2023. Because I want you to think about this if you're running tournaments on whether you hand out medals to everyone or not. The cost of the medal should be negligible. Okay? So this medal is from the Masters Games held in Adelaide. I had just got out of surgery. I didn't know if I'd be able to compete. And I entered. And I won. Okay? And it's not about who I competed against. It was the fact... and I'm not disregarding the people I competed against by any stretch of the imagination. It was the fact that I was there and I worked my little ass off to get there and do this. It was hard work for me. I had to take time off work, my business struggles during that, and it was a big thing for me to get there and do it, and the training that I had to do to get there. It was a big event. This is silver for field. I was beaten by one of my staff, Shane, who trained his ass off to beat me. His fingers were bleeding. That's how much he trained leading up to this event to beat me, right? I think he beat me by about 10 points. Hats off to him because he trained because that's how much he wanted to win. So he gets the gold and I get the silver, right? It's an amazing story. For me, it's an amazing story. Another one from the gold from the Masters. And look, each one of these, I don't know which one's which, because the Masters had, there was clout, which was tough because the ground was hard and the arrows bounced and the field was amazing. An amazing field course the club sort of set up. And, this was clout. This was really, really hard for me to win. I was behind and then it sort of all came together and I managed to win. But I was very, very lucky. And when I say lucky, the other shooters around me shot incredible and I only just won, right? But there was so much effort I put into winning this, getting everything set up, getting everything right. I shot close to a state record. I didn't shoot a state record, but I shot close to it. The target. I was losing the whole way through. I was so lost. I was like coming last. And I was like, oh, I've done it. I've lost. And then I'm going to say everyone else fatigued. And I got stronger and I came back to win. This is Great Southern's field shoot. This was a team event. We got silver. I'm going to say, we were so far ahead of the team who won, who got the gold. And one of my team members, Shane, put his sight on the wrong distance. That would have caused us to win. We were shooting so much better in the competition round and it came to match play and we shot, I think one of us shot a miss. If I'd shot better, we would have won. So we can't blame the guy who put his sight on the wrong. We would have won. If the guy shooting barebow, who was shooting amazing, he's one of the best barebow shooters in Australia, we would have won. And we lost by a couple of points. It was quite amazing. It was only 3 arrows. That's the same event, silver. So I was beaten by Shane in that event. I was beaten by someone. This was the Barossa Valley Archery Club, the club which is in the vineyards. Now, I won this. I shot compound. The pain I felt in my chest, it was severe, and I didn't know if I was doing the right thing or not, shooting it. And I shot with against Michael. I mean, there's other people there, but Michael's a fantastic shooter. I really love Michael. He works so hard, and we used to be neck and neck the whole time. And this time I beat him. And I felt like I was shooting really, really well, but he pushed me to the last arrow. That's me coming second to Michael, who beat me on one day and I beat him the next. Another Masters game. My story, if you haven't got this by now, is these are memories. Each one of these is a memory of working my ass off last year. So this one is, this one's Adelaide Archery Club, the highest veteran shooter for the club. This one is silver at the Nationals. Well, this is amazing. I only just got back to shoot, and I shot my personal, when I say personal best, I shot 285 indoors. Indoors, and I was in massive pain in my chest here, like massive. And I couldn't feel my back at all. It was just painful here, and when I say I willed myself through, I didn't know if I was doing myself damage. And I came out with the second, and the person who won it is a guy from Queensland, Andrew, and well done, Andrew, because you shot really, really well. But the thing was, I didn't even know if I'd be able to shoot it. When I entered, I was like, because I couldn't shoot when I was at the stage I had to enter, I couldn't shoot. And I just worked, and I was in pain every single day, and it was looking back on it, it was stupidity. This is the state club clout records championship, so I was in a team, which I didn't even know about. This one is best all-round recurve shooter for the year, which look, if Casey shot, he would have kicked my ass, but he's focused on the Olympics, which I always don't know how I feel about, because he's clearly a better archer than me. But he's got no interest in, when I say no interest in state stuff, he wants to be the best archer in the world, and he trains to do that. So winning these sorts of things is nothing to him, because he wants to be the best in the world. And this is the state target team event, which I won, which I was part of the team, which I don't know about as well. But my point is, for the start of the year, I couldn't shoot. So 2023, I didn't shoot the first half, so this is just the second half of the year. And all of these are memories, okay? So for the shoot I shot on the weekend, I have a memory of it, but that memory will pass, and I don't have a token which indicates the time and effort that went into it. And I'm going to say there's going to be a whole bunch of people who shot that shoot and shoots who've got stories like mine. They put the hard work in, and it was hard. They got home late. I got home at 8 o'clock, 7:30 that night. I was hungry, and I was exhausted and dehydrated. And I'm going to say there's other people who travelled from Victoria who had to travel 10 hours home, so they wouldn't have got home till 3 o'clock in the morning. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story, and these things cost a couple of bucks each. And I understand why you don't give them out, but I'm going to say, if you don't give them out, think about it, and think about what you're trying to achieve in the sport. The purpose of sport is to foster and grow archery. That's the purpose. Everything else is second. So forget about the Olympics, forget about match play, forget about everything, right? The number one purpose of the sport is to grow it, get more people shooting, get more people having fun, okay? Now, is it fun for me to shoot a tournament? No, it's hard work. It's hard. It's the amount of effort required. It's so hard. I can't wait till it's over, right? So why do I do it? Because it's hard. It's hard, and after it's done, I can relax. And I think it makes me stronger. I think it makes the other things in life seem like shooting your backyard here seem trivial. It's shooting your club seem trivial. And I like shooting in the club. I love going down and shooting with people in the club and just socially shooting. And it just puts more and more pressure on you that you've got to learn to cope with, right? So I like that. But these are my memories, right? For last year shooting archery, because this is what I do. I shoot archery. So when you run a tournament, think about the people's memories. And you've got to think, if you want people to come back to your event, do you want them to have a memory? Because as far as I'm concerned, you don't want people to think, well, should I enter as an under 14 girl, or should I enter as a ladies recurve. Now, if the young girl who I mentioned at the start of this video entered in ladies recurve, she still wouldn't have got a medal because there was no other ladies recurve. In fact, there was a ladies compound shooter there who obviously shot the highest ladies compound score, which I don't know what it was. I might be bad for not knowing that, but it's kind of the way it works. It was a handicap thing. But she didn't get a medal. So she clearly works her ass off to achieve great goals, but she doesn't get a medal. So I don't know. My view is, if you turn up and you're the only person, you should get a medal. If other people decide they're not going to turn up because you're too good, or it's just too hard and they'd prefer to sit at home and watch TV, well, then you should get the medal. You should get the rewards, and get the memories and get the stories to talk about. And it might just be your memories, because, no one cares that I won this stuff, right? These don't hang up in my shop, and maybe they should hang up in my shop, but they are stories, and they're about how much work I put in. I'm going to go back to when I shot compound. I competed against this guy, and he'd always beat me. And I've mentioned this before on videos. Always beat me. And I would sit here training. I put in more and more work. I don't know how many hours I was shooting a night. But then gradually I was improving. And then gradually, I think it took me 3 years to beat him. Then finally I beat him. And someone said to him, "How do you feel about Stephen beating you?" And he said, "Well, Stephen's better." I'm going to get the words wrong. But he said, "Look, Stephen's better than me right now," or something like that. But he knew how much work I was putting in to try and achieve that, right? So, and that's what matters. Like right now, he'd kick my ass, right? So, but it's the amount of work, the dedication, that's what matters. So anyway, that's my story on medals, and that's my view on medals. I think there should be a first, second, and third. That doesn't cost much. If you've got to charge an extra $2 for your entry fee to cover the cost of medal, charge an extra $2. If you've got to get sponsors for your tournaments, get sponsors who pay for the medals. I don't care. Just make sure people shoot this and make sure they enjoy the sport. Now you've got a camera in my video because the sun's setting. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Hopefully, if you're running tournaments, it makes you think. I know we've had this debate many a times at many a meetings in association levels and national levels, but that's my take from it. Think about it if you're holding tournaments. My view is, when I used to hold tournaments, I would have these engraved with the number of people shooting in each event. So if there was 3 people registered, I'd have a first, second, and third, and that way it would have the event on the back, it would have what class they shot in, and then you just give them out to the people. So it was, you knew who was registered, you'd have them pre-engraved, and then you just handed them out to the people based on the results of the event. It was pretty quick. So anyway, that's my take on it. Thanks for watching. Bye.